Students, now we'll see about the optical receiver operation. So in optical receiver operation, your optical receiver is going to consist of photodetector, amplifier, signal processing circuitry. The receiver, what is the purpose of the receiver is, it is to convert the optical energy which is going to emerge from the end of the fiber into an electrical signal. Then it has to amplify the signal, and that amplified signal should be processed by the electronic circuit, so following the receiver amplifier there. So here the noise role in your receiver. So when you are going to have various noises or distortions are going to be unavoidably introduced due to the imperfect components that are going to be present. So which in turn will lead to the errors in the interpretation of the received signal. So here the noise sources which are going to be operating in the receiver is going to generally set the lower limit of the signal that can be processed. The performance measuring. So the performance measuring of performance of a digital communication system is going to be based on the average error probability. But in an analog system, it is going to be the fidelity criterion is going to be in terms of the peak signal to noise ratio. So here we say that the design of the optical receiver is going to be more complicated than that of an optical transmitter. Why? Because the receiver has to detect the weak signal, the receiver has to detect the distorted signal, and the decision is going to be made on the basis of the amplified and the reshaped version of the distorted signal. So here we are going to go for a digital signal transmission where the data are going to be sent by using your amplitude shift keying method or your on-off keying method there. So where your voltage levels are going to be switched on between the two values. Either it is going to be on or it is going to be in the off state. So now we'll see the signal path that is going to be through an optical data link. So here first is going to be the transmitter block. So the transmitter block is to convert the electrical signal into an optical signal there. So here we are going to directly modulate the light source drive current with the information stream to produce a varying optical output. So the optical signal which is going to emerge from the LED or the laser transmitter is going to be represented as 1 by a pulse of optical power of duration d, Tb. If it is going to be 0, then it is going to be represented by the absence of any light. Fiber. The optical signal that is going to be coupled from the light source to the fiber becomes attenuated and distorted as it propagates along the fiber waveguide. So the optical fiber signal can be attenuated or it can be distorted when it is going to be propagated along the fiber there. So the receiver, upon the receiving at the end of the fiber, the receiver has to convert the optical signal into the electrical signal there. So here you are going to have your electric pulse. The electric pulse is going to be the input, which is going to be this is the information stream, and this information stream is going to be modulated by the drive current of this LED or the laser, and that is going to be modulated and as an optical power pulses. Where if I want to send the data, it is going to be represented as 1, which is going to have a duration of Tb, and if no data is going to be sent, in that case it is going to be 0 there, or the absence of light is going to be represented as 0. And this light signal, optical signal, is going to be propagated along the optical fiber. When it is going to be propagated along the optical fiber, it is going to get attenuated and we are going to get a distorted optical power pulse there. So this distorted optical power pulse should be detected by this pin or avalanche photodiode. So here this pin or avalanche photodiode will convert the optical signal back into an electrical signal there. So this is nothing but an electrical current pulses which is going to contain the photodetector noise is also going to be present. So this is going to be sent to an amplifier and a filter there. So where the filter is going to remove the noise component that is going to be present in the signal, and that weak signal is going to be amplified. So now we are going to have a signal there which is going to be amplified, and the noise is also all the noise will not be completely removed. So we will be having a small noise, that noise will also be amplified there, and that will be given to a decision circuit and a pulse regenerator. So the decision circuit will take a decision based on the threshold there. If the received pulse is going to be above a threshold, then a pulse 1 is going to be transmitted. If the received pulse is going to be below a threshold, then in that case 0 is going to be transmitted there. So we are going to use a pulse regenerator to regenerate the pulse shapes there. So here in this case, the regenerated output voltage pulses are going to be given to the signal processing equipment. So this is the basic optical receiver operation from your pin avalanche diode to your signal processing equipment. So here your basic components of the optical receiver is your photodetector. So here the first element is going to be either your pin or avalanche photodiode. It is going to produce an electric current that is going to be proportional to the received optical power. So the front end amplifier is nothing but, as the electric current what we are going to receive is going to be very weak, a front end amplifier is going to be used to boost the amplification of the signal so that it can be processed by the remaining electronic components there. Next is a low pass filter. So after the electric signal that is going to be produced by the photodiode is amplified, it passes through the low pass filter to reduce the noise. That is, if there is going to be any noise that is going to be present along with this amplified signal, that noise should be removed, and it is going to be done with the help of the low pass filter there. That is how the noise that is going to be present outside the signal bandwidth will be removed there. Then this filter is going to decide the receiver bandwidth, and it is going to minimize the intersymbol interference. Next is equalization. So equalization is nothing but, again it is nothing but a low pass filter where we are going to have a reshaping of the pulses that is going to be done as it has traveled through the fiber there. Next is your sampling circuit. So it is going to sample the signal at the midpoint of each time slot. So here we are going to have a decision circuit where this decision circuit is going to compare the samples with a certain reference voltage known as the threshold level there. If the received signal is going to be greater than the threshold level, then a 1 is received. If the received signal is going to be below the threshold level, 0 is received. So next is clock recovery or timing recovery. So to accomplish this bit interpretation, the receiver must know where the bit boundaries are going to be. So that is going to be done with the assistance of your periodic waveform called your clock signal there. So which is going to have a periodicity equivalent to that of the bit interval. So at every clock signal, this signal will be sampled and the decision will be taken there. The error sources. So the errors in the detection mechanism can arise from various noises and the disturbances there. So the noises are nothing but the unwanted components which are going to be present along with the electrical signal, which will tend to disturb the original information signal there. So in that case, we should see what are the noise signals that are going to be present. One is external noise signal, the other one is an internal noise signal. External noise signal is nothing but the noise sources which are external to the system is going to be called as external noise. That is, example is your electric power lines, motors, radio transmitters and lightning. All these are nothing but your external noise. Internal noise is nothing but the noise source which is internal to the system. That is the thermal noise, short noise, dark current noise, all are nothing but the internal noise, which is going to be because of the components that are going to be present inside the system there. So the short noise current, as I said, it is going to be the random arrival rate of the signal photons, which is going to produce a quantum or short noise at the photodetector. So we know that the short noise is nothing but it is going to have a statistical nature of the multiplication process in your avalanche photodiode. Thermal noise is nothing but when the temperature is going to increase, it is going to be arising from the detector load resistor there and in your amplifier electronics because the components may get heated up there. Dark current is when the photodiode dark current arises from the electrons and holes that are thermally generated at the PN junction of the diode. That is, when no current is going to flow through the diode because of the thermally generated electrons and holes are going to be present at the PN junction of the photodiode there. And this dark current is going to be comparatively very small compared to the other noise currents there. The thermal noises generally are of Gaussian nature there and it can be treated by your standard techniques. So analysis of this noise and the resulting error probables are going to be associated mainly with the primary photocurrent generation, and the avalanche multiplications are going to be complicated there. So here in this case, in an avalanche multiplication, it is neither of this process is going to be a Gaussian process, it is a Poisson process there. So here the further error source that is going to be present is your intersymbol interference, which is going to result from the pulse spreading in the optical fiber. So because of the pulse spreading which is going to be induced by the fiber, some of the transmitted energy will be progressively spread into the neighboring pulse slots there as the pulse propagates along the fiber. So here we are going to have the noise sources and the disturbances. So here your photon, when a light is going to be incident on the photo detector, your photon detection, that is a quantum noise, is going to be present. And in the photo detector we can have a bulk dark current or a surface leakage current or a statistical gain fluctuation for avalanche photodiodes. This is your bias resistor. Because of that the temperature that is going to be generated across this resistor, we will be having a thermal noise, and in the amplifier we will be having an amplifier noise. The front end amplifier is going to be the noise sources at the front end of a receiver is going to dominate the sensitivity and bandwidth. So our goal is to maximize the receiver sensitivity while maintaining a suitable bandwidth. So the front end amplifiers are going to be classified into two categories. One is high impedance and the other one is your trans impedance there. So the basic concern in the front end design is to choose the load resistance RL. Then the thermal noise is going to be inversely proportional to the load resistance. Then RL should be as large as possible to minimize your thermal noise. So high impedance amplifier. So here we have to have a trade-off between the noise and the receiver bandwidth, because the bandwidth is going to be inversely proportional to the resistance which is going to be seen by the photodiode. High load resistance are going to result in low noise but also gives a low receiver bandwidth. So here this is the general structure of your high impedance amplifier there. So the trans impedance amplifier. So in the trans impedance amplifier, it is going to overcome the drawbacks of your high impedance amplifier. So in this case, what we are going to do is your RL resistor, load resistor, is going to be used as a negative feedback around an inverting amplifier there. So when RL can be large, since your negative feedback is going to reduce the effect of the resistance seen by the photodiode there. So in that case, the resistance seen at this output of your photodiode is going to be Rp is equal to RL by G plus 1, where G is nothing but the gain of the amplifier there. So in that case, your trans impedance amplifier is going to be the choice for optical fiber transmission links. So the electronic components which is going to be present in the front end amplifier followed the photodetector and also adds the further thermal noise there. So the magnitude of this additional noise is going to depend on the design of the amplifier there. So here we are going to incorporate the bipolar or field effect transistor in design. So the noise increase can be accounted for by introducing an amplifier noise figure. The amplifier noise figure is nothing but the ratio of the input signal to noise ratio to the output signal to noise ratio of the amplifier. So here the typical values of the amplifier noise figure range from 3 to 5 decibels. So we are going to see receiver sensitivity. So here in this case, our requirement is to achieve a desired bit error rate at a given data rate there. So that means that it should have a specific minimum average optical power level that must arrive at the photodetector there. So value of this minimum optical power level is going to be called as the sensitivity, receiver sensitivity. So receiver sensitivity is nothing but an average optical power in decibels meter incident on the photodetector there. So the receiver sensitivity gives a measure of the minimum average power needed to maintain a maximum bit error rate at a specific data rate. So this is your sensitivity, where the sensitivity is going to be high in the case of pin photodiode when I'm going to compare it with the bit rate, and this is going to be for your avalanche photodiode there. The quantum limit. So here this quantum limit is going to be calculated by assuming the zero dark current. That means that there is going to be no electron hole pairs which is going to be generated in the absence of the optical pulse there. So here the minimum received optical power required for a specific bit error performance in the digital system there. So the minimum received power level is known as the quantum limit, assuming all the system parameters are going to be ideal. So sensitivity of most of the receivers is going to be around 20 decibels, which is higher than the quantum limit there, because of the various nonlinear distortions and the noise effects that is going to be present in the transmission link. When specifying the quantum limit, we have to distinguish between the average power and the peak power. So the quantum limit is going to be based on the peak power. Thank you.